Hello, everyone. Here we are, another episode, If It Be Your Will podcast coming to you. I love when I can get Montrealers to come on the show. And today I've gotten the biggest, best Montrealer, in my humble opinion, to come on the show. I have Alexandra Levy from Ada Lea from Montreal with us today, and we're going to explore her latest record and her process and what is coming down the road as well. So, Alex, thanks so much, first off, for coming in and sharing some of your stories and your process and stuff like that. But before we start, maybe I tend to ask this first question to most artists is when the bug of music hit you, like some of your early recollections of when music really started to elevate in your mind to more than just, yeah, that's cool hobby. Like, when did it start to be like, I think I really want to continue doing this for a long time?
I mean, just recently, I stumbled across a home video. I was about 9, maybe younger or maybe older, I'm not exactly sure, but I was in my room singing along to Christina Aguilera's I Am Beautiful, or You Are Beautiful. I Am Beautiful.
Yep.
And then my mom and brother are filming secretly, and I get so mad at them. But I didn't remember having done that. And as I was watching back, it's like, oh, it's interesting that as a young kid, I wanted to be able to sing and really couldn't. And then the moments that I did, I was kind of embarrassed or like made to feel like I was doing something embarrassing. And that's why they were filming or laughing and stuff. So I think it started as a young kid. And then when I was in high school, I don't know, I can't exactly remember, but just feeling like it was this magical world and I hadn't been exposed to very much music playing. And I just wanted to know everything. I wanted to know how the notes worked, how like the theory would line up, how you could read music. This thing that you can't, that's so ephemeral. You can't grip your hand around it, yet you can read it on a page and it comes to life. I don't know, something somewhere along the high school road. And yeah.
And when is it that you first picked up an instrument, and what was that instrument you first started playing around with?
It was my brother's bass, and at my high school they were needing a bass player, and my friend was in the band, and I really wanted to. It was like an after school and before school activity, and it just seemed so fun, like everyone playing together. And I found it impressive too that, she was so good at math and sciences and pretty English. And then she also was able to play music. So I just felt inspired by her and I wanted to play with her. Yeah.
And was it always an interest too to not only play but actually write your own music? Like, was that always kind of in your mind when you were like getting into it and playing bass in high school, and like was that idea almost right away when you encountered music that one day I want to write music and write songs and perform them for people?
Yeah, I started writing songs almost immediately. And yeah, I knew that I wanted to write songs, but it wasn't until much later that I actually started playing them and recording them. That I remember with my first boyfriend, he would play guitar and I was playing bass, and I wasn't really singing, he was singing. And it was so fun. I wanted to record all the time.
Yeah. I think that it's amazing when you first have that first encounter with another musician as well, and you're like conversing through the music. Like it's hard to describe, right? It's this feeling, this joy that erupts out of you. And like, how did you go about finding your voice? Because, I mean, you have such an amazing voice.
Yeah.
And you were saying that, at first you were kind of shy about it. And like, how did that evolution happen with finding your voice and feeling confident with it?
Yeah, it was a long, long journey, but I was pretty much tone deaf in CEGEP. I remember my first class, we had mandatory, I went to Vanier for music, and they have an amazing music program. And at the time, there was this woman named Erica Fair who directed the Vanier choir, and you had to do mandatory choir and mandatory ear training. And I remember not being able to tell the difference between two notes. And this is, I mean, it just blows my mind too, because I somehow managed to get into the program with an audition. So yeah, so at the time I couldn't tell the difference between two notes. I couldn't replicate a sound and I couldn't match the notes. And I think she had never seen that in the program before. And yeah, my voice was just so blocked. And then after that, shortly after that, I was practicing in a cubicle. I remember in the basement of Vanier. They haven't changed their facilities whatsoever. It's still the same. But yeah, in the basement. And then my friend, these two girls next door were playing, and I stopped practicing and I was just listening to them. They were singing, they had written their songs. And then I asked if I could join in with my bass. And then we just started playing together. And about a year later, they were singing in harmony, and I really wanted to sing along too. And, I would practice and practice, and I still couldn't hit any notes. And then they said, like, maybe, but we had a show approaching. And I remember one of the girls was like, maybe it would be better if you didn't sing. And that was just so shattering for me. And I stopped singing. Yeah, I stopped trying to sing. And then I ended up getting a full scholarship to the new school in New York. And after the 3 years of the Vanier program. And so when I went to New York, I was very serious about bass, and I was there on the big scholarship to play bass. And when you are out of like the mandatory lessons, you get to choose who you want to be your teacher, and you have all of New York City basically to choose from. It's an amazing opportunity. And so I was studying with all of, my bass legends, and I started to like get so much pain I basically developed tendonitis, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't hold my phone. It was just horrible. Couldn't, yeah, like I remember like trying to dress myself and everything was hurting. There would be tingling. My hand would go numb. And so I stopped playing bass. I had to stop temporarily. So for the next semester, my choice of teacher was a voice teacher. And it was, to be honest, like because I saw Joanna Sternberg, we were friends in school, bass buddies. And I saw Joanna Sternberg play. They invited me up to this jam session at Cleo's, and I didn't know that they were, they could sing. It was, they were hosting a jam session, so they were playing bass, and I remember them singing. I didn't know what time it was, and just singing. There happened to be a mic, and they were like, "Oh, can I try and sing this one?" And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that you could sing and play these standards. And I loved to sing them as I was learning them in my, the comfort of my own small spaces, but I would never ever do it in public. So after seeing Joanna sing, then I saw my friend Dita also sing standards. I remember Dita singing at FAT. She was singing T for Two in kind of this like kind of a Blossom Deary ish thing. Anyway, I was so inspired, and then after we went out to like a diner, and then with like the whole gang, and I was like, Dita, like where'd you learn to sing? How do you sing like that? And she's like, oh, like I always sang in my in my small spaces, but then I started taking lessons with this woman named Kate Baker. And so that was the same person that Joanna had studied with. And I was like, what are the odds that like two of my friends are studying with the same person? So I reached out to Kate, and I couldn't afford the lessons, but I was like, can I, like, I'll clean your apartment for you. I'll do anything to get some lessons. What do I need to do? And she was like, yeah, come and do admin work for me. So yeah, I like tidied her place and then did some admin work. And yeah, that it was just so amazing. I was obsessed. And she's she's a character herself. But yeah, so that was the
Interesting. What is
beginning
resilient
of it.
It's unbelievable. Like you never gave up. You were like, no.
Yeah.
I'll find a way. I'll find a way. And was it that mentorship that started to unleash on all these records that we now get the privilege of listening to? Like, was it shortly thereafter where you like said, okay, I'm going to do this, like be out there with your voice and record? And
yeah, so like the following semester, which was my last semester at the new school, we had to do a concert, and I still was like recovering from tendonitis, but I could still choose who I would get my lessons with, and so I chose Kate, and they gave me approval to study with someone outside of my main instrument. And she helped me, all I wanted to do was sing standards. I loved singing standards. So she helped me get like a small quote unquote set and together for the recital. And so that was the beginning. And then kind of right after that, I moved back to Montreal. And yeah.
It's just, I love it. And I mean, it's kind of a bit of your beginning story is what you're helping now young artists to do through Concordia University. I watched it's your second year teaching there. Is that accurate?
It's going to be, my third in January.
Right. So I saw your recitals at the end. They're not recital. I guess your showcase. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really was impressed with what your students were able to do. How do you see yourself on that other side now, where, you're coming up through trying to find people to support you, and now you're doing that? How does that process feel? It feels like kind of you've come full circle from needing support to now giving support.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't do very much. I'm there to facilitate, and to offer support, but really I think you're either like compelled or you're not. And the people that sign up for that class, because it's not a requirement, they're either there's some level of curiosity there. So it's kind of, it's an easy role to be in, because then everyone that's there wants to be exploring. And
right.
Yeah,
it's really cool too. Like there's such a variety of your students' styles and approaches to songwriting. Did that course inspire you in a way with your own art and your own, creative process?
for sure. Seeing the students, do their thing and explore, and in a way, everything is new for them, most of them. So they're taking risks that I haven't taken in a while, or I hadn't taken in a while. And I felt for the past few years, I felt just kind of blocked creatively. Can't get myself to really like lock in, being so distracted. And just recently I've tried to find another way around it. But yeah, the students kind of helped me realize how blocked I had been.
Yeah, and just reading about your latest release, When I Paint My Masterpiece, I mean, just this spectacular record. I was so happy the first listen that I had of this, just to hear your music again, fresh stuff. Because I must admit, I wore out the other two records through overplaying.
No.
So it was great to hear these new songs. But in the history of this record, I heard that, or I had read that it was, you were kind of coming out of this period where it was much more difficult for you to be creative. And did you look at other outlets to kind of help inspire the music? Because I know also you're a great painter, and like you're an artist overall. Like you dabble in art and creativity. Did you find a vehicle in other art to help you with your music ever? Like
Yeah.
like when you get into that kind of funk where nothing just seems to be flowing anymore, like maybe you could describe a little bit of like what were your tools to kind of get out of that and refine, the beauty of music that's stored inside you already that's just waiting to come out.
So burnt out, and I felt so inspired by school. And in Quebec, school is so cheap compared to everywhere else, even just in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so affordable that, like, even if you were to take classes, like community classes, school, you're getting the top educators and kind of thinkers in the city, and you're paying like minimally. So it just felt like the best case scenario that I would go back to school and actually study literature, and painting and drawing. So I wanted to do those three things and get like another degree after my jazz degree. And I had a dream of like getting a master's too. So I think I wanted to learn. I wanted to be in environments where, there were people that were really knowledgeable about a specific kind of thing that could impart their knowledge
Right.
onto me.
That's amazing. Oh, great. Again, more resilience here. I love it.
Yeah.
And how did your latest record come to be then? Like, what did you have a huge inventory of songs that you had kind of compiled over time, or was this like a very specific project with a specific intent behind it? How big or small was it when you were approaching your latest release?
I really wasn't thinking of the release whatsoever. I was just kind of writing songs with my friends. I've spoken about it before, but we'd done this. It started off really small, just a couple people, where we would each submit a song every 3 days for a month. And so right there, you kind of have a record within 1 month.
Right.
And the songs vary, like some songs are unlistenable, and then some, there's like a bit of a moment that you found exciting, so then you kind of revisit it after. But I wasn't thinking about an album. I was just writing as much as possible. Yeah.
That's cool. And how is it back on the road? Like you just mentioned before that you thought after one hand on the steering wheel and the other sewing in garden that maybe that was it. Like I wasn't like, how did you refine that? And are you enjoying it now? How's it going on the road?
Yeah, it was really nice to do this most this most recent tour. I booked it with like Gil, who's my booking agent, and with Chris, who plays in my band. And he was like, if I'm going to be driving, like I don't want to drive for 7 hours and play a show. Can we have like a kind of cap about driving hours if it's show days too? So we really were just trying out this new system. Like, can it be sustainable? Is it more sustainable? And we were in bed by midnight most nights. Sometimes 11 p.m. Somehow it was just almost dreamlike, so manageable. And so 3.5 weeks just kind of flew by. Feels like a dream. And I feel really inspired now. Yeah.
Amazing. So as we kind of come to a close here, what can we expect from Ada Lea as time rolls down along? Like, are you still actively writing music? Are you looking to next year to release something else or more touring? Is there any little highlights of where the future lies.
Yeah, I'm always writing, and I'm writing now. I'm kind of actively searching for who I would like to do the next record with. Is it something I'm going to try and do by myself? Am I going to find somebody else? I've been listening to Cameron Winter's album so much. I am super inspired by that. I kind of just want to go to New York and I don't know, live in New York for a bit again. That's what I feel. But yeah, if you have any ideas about who I could record the next album with, I'm taking suggestions.
Excellent. Well, I mean, New York is full of, it's there's a plethora of people that would love to record you, I'm sure. I mean, I think it would be such a privilege to, I mean, I'm excited about this record and about what's to come. And I really want to just thank you for talking with me today. It's a real story of resilience. I will tell you that. It's been really fascinating. We've only just talked here for about half an hour, but I feel super inspired. And I wish you all the best with your art and your teaching and your shows. And if ever you'd love to come in, I mean, there's so many other questions we could talk about. I'd love to have you back.
Oh, thanks so much, Chris.
Well, thank you. And have yourself a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Set goes on, bouncing off the concrete, down under the spell of an August night. The train screeches by, paying us no mind. I'm looking out at the train with my back to that. Lift my eyes to the moon and back. Trains moving fast, like time goes fast. Could have sworn I saw someone standing on the track. When I think of you, you're in your apartment. Morning sunlight streaming in. When I think of you, you're in your apartment. Stand around, sipping on green cans, down under the spell of an haunted night. Out here we're living like we have all the time. And I remember on